Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uncanny Spirits Club. And I'm almost over my cold as of this recording. By the time you see this, I'll have been over it for months, I'm sure. But because my broadcasts are different from my recordings, remember. But I still have a bit of a cough, a bunch of gunk, draining from my sinuses. But overall, feeling better. So I'm back to doing some beers that I couldn't do when I wasn't feeling great because the carbonation things just didn't hit my stomach well. But this one today is themed for my state. It's brewed in Columbus. Actually, it isn't. It's supposed to be for Columbus. It's interesting. It's Ohio themed, but it's brewed and packaged by Grey Duck Brewing Company, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Funny how that happens, huh? But it's supposed to be just for Ohio, so now I have to wonder how many other beers are just for what state and just in different packaged cans. I'll have to look into that. But this is by the 1870 Society, that apparently is the company. And it is the 2023 edition of Boom American Lager. I'm not usually a big fan of lagers, but I saw it and I try to test out things that are supposed to be locally produced. I didn't realize it was produced in Minnesota and then sent here as a themed product. So it's kind of an interesting situation we find ourselves in. But we're going to try it and see if it's any different from some of the standard, like Budweiser kind of things. It says it's 4.5% alcohol by volume, so slightly more than what something like Coors or Bud Light or whoever would do. It's very thin, definitely very lager-like. As you guys know, I'm more of a fan of dark beers, stouts and porters and things, but looks darker, again, as usual, on the camera versus here. It's like a dark yellow, slightly darker and less yellow than a Mountain Dew, slightly more beer brown color, but very, very thin. I can see through the glass, see my fingers on the other side. Very bubbly. The foam on top's already pretty much going away. So let's give this a try and see if it's worth having. Okay. Okay, it has a little bit of creaminess to it almost. There's a little bit of citrus almost, but not in a way that an IPA has. It's very mild. Almost like a very, very, very lightly flavored, not too sweet orange cream. Almost. Like those little orange cream candies you get that are kind of like you get the mint, the peppermint pinwheels and things, and you can get those in the wintergreen, but or the spearmint or whatever it is. And then sometimes you can find those kinds of candies, but with fruit rather than mint. I don't know how common those are. Those were the thing when I was a kid, and I don't know. I'm sure you could find a similar version of it today. It's not too beer heavy. It doesn't taste a lot like a beer. It tastes pretty weak, actually, to be honest. I could probably drink a couple of these and not feel too bad. Yeah. It tastes like it tastes a bit like a flavored club soda, but without a lot of flavor to it, almost like a seltzer. or what I imagine a seltzer would be, because I don't drink seltzers, to be honest. I think they'd be kind of gross and pretty weak. But this is pretty. This is light on everything. It's light on flavor. It's light on alcohol taste. Light on body. It's not bad, honestly. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. It's just there's light beers generally still taste like beer most of the time for me. And usually Rolling Rock is the lightest I get, generally, unless I'm doing IPAs for the channel here. I don't buy those regularly. I've had Rolling Rock on a fairly regular basis. It's been a while, but I have had a lot of it in the many years that I've been having beer. And this feels lesser than that in a way, but it has a nice flavor. It's very pleasant. It's very clean. It's just weird because I feel like it should taste more like beer, and it doesn't. And maybe that's a good point, because a lot of times I don't want light beers to taste like light beers because I don't like that beer taste. That's why I generally like stouts and porters, because they have more depth to them. They have more fullness. There's something in there that covers up this fact that it's just beer. One of my cats is sticking his head in his cat food bag, even though he has food in his dish, because he's just going to help himself. Anyway, yeah, it's not what I expected. Especially with a name like Boom, you know? With a name like Boom, this seems like something that you would pack a punch of some kind. Pardon me, that's my sinus drainage. But you know what? It does taste like something that you would find having been brewed in Minnesota. It just seems like that's... You don't hear of a lot of heavy hard liquors, or like really powerful things coming out of Minnesota. I'm not trying to like down on your state if anybody lives there. I know Ohio has its own like issues and things like that. Every state has its ups and downs. I just wouldn't imagine, in retrospect, now that I think about it, something like Boom to reflect the tastes and palates of Minnesota. So what's in the can does, what's outside of the can doesn't. But what's inside seems very mild-mannered and very, oh, yes, very polite. We don't like a lot of spice. We don't like a lot of excess taste. Welcome to Minnesota. Very white bread. And I mean that in just a taste palette way. I don't mean that in a political or racial or whatever kind of way. So don't take my words out of context. That's not what I mean. I just mean as in it's very plain and very inoffensive and mildly pleasant, I suppose. If that's Minnesota, then it might be a nice place to live, to be honest. Not too exciting, but yeah, it does taste like Minnesota. So there you have it. There's the Boom American Lager from the 1870 Society. They have a little blurb like that doesn't say what they do. It just says something about collective cultivating financial and social values for the community at large. So I don't know what that's all about. It sounds kind of group, commune kind of things without getting too buzzwordy. But yeah, 4.5% alcohol, so it's definitely not going to hit you real hard. The boom is not really going to happen. Got a picture of Ohio, Columbus as the capital, 2023 edition. So, yeah, it's Minnesota in a can. This was part of a pick six. As you folks know, my local grocery store, you pick 6 beers randomly off the shelf that are out of package for whatever reason, and you pay $11.99 for the 6-pack. And so that means that this would retail somewhere in the neighborhood of between $9.99 and $13.99. I would hope that, based on my experience with it, that it would be lesser in the $9.99 range. But I don't know, maybe the can being like commemorative for Ohio for some reason that I'm not able to fathom at this point, because nothing about this screams Ohio to me. That maybe it's more because of that. I don't know. It's definitely a surprise. It's a sort of a letdown in some ways and sort of a curiosity in others. So, but I'm gonna finish it because it's not bad. I'm enjoying it at the very least. But I'm gonna do that, and hopefully no one watching my channel from Minnesota is going to be angry with me. So until next time, as always, cheers.